when you die, you just carry on from where you are here. So if you hardly know Christ, when you die, you'll hardly know him. You'll have to get to know him. Do not store up for yourselves treasure on earth. How crazy is that? I mean, we do that all the time. Spend a lot of our life storing up treasures on earth. What was Jesus forbidding? Well, a couple things he wasn't forbidding. He wasn't forbidding personal possessions. And nowhere are personal possessions looked down on or condemned in Scripture. There was a time in the book of Acts when nobody called what they had their own and used it freely for everybody, but that was neither commanded nor is it even held up as an example. It's just a statement of what happened at a particular time when the Spirit was poured out. He's not forbidding personal possessions. He's also not forbidding making appropriate provision for tomorrow. The key word there would be appropriate. He's not forbidding making appropriate provision for tomorrow. In the book of Proverbs, in fact, it says we ought to think about that. The writer of Proverbs says, hey, go and look at the ant, that bug, the ant. He says it actually stores up provisions for winter. And he holds the ant up as an example. So he's not forbidding possessions or appropriate provision for the future. What is he prohibiting here? It's right in the text. 2 words, for yourselves. That gives it away. What Jesus is forbidding is the selfish accumulation of goods for myself. The selfish accumulation of goods for myself is what he's forbidding. Don't lay up treasures for yourself is the key. Treasures are critical, and we all have them. And Jesus' statement is that not that our heart should be here, should be there, but it will be wherever your treasure is. Wherever your treasure is, that's where your heart will be. That's what Jesus is saying. Instead, he says, lay up treasure in heaven. What does that mean? What does it mean to lay up treasure in heaven? He doesn't explain that. So I've come to this conclusion that it must mean anything on earth whose effect lasts for eternity. Anything I do on earth, the effect of which lasts for eternity, must be what Jesus means when he talks about treasure in heaven. So what could that be? It could be things like the development of godly character. The development of godly character. Because I leave this world with everything I possess left behind except my character. I take that with me. And you remember that the character that God looks for is the fruit of the Spirit, and it's love. The fruit of the Spirit is love. And then that passage breaks love down into its component parts, but that's the fruit of the Spirit. So love of God and love of neighbor. As I develop that and grow in that, that's laying up treasure in heaven. And then I would say knowledge of Christ, personal knowledge of Christ. You take that with you when you go into heaven. You know, some people have this idea that when you die, it's just, we're all again at the starting line and we all start out equal. That's wrong. When you die, you just carry on from where you are here. So if you hardly know Christ, when you die, you'll hardly know him. You'll have to get to know him. There's a lot of people that are further down the road, and that's a good thing. So it's really important you understand that what he's talking about here is godly character, knowledge of Christ, and then I think he would talk about money because he talks about it here, and he'd talk about the use of money for the Lord's work and for those in need. Money that's given to the Lord's work and to those in need is laying up treasure in heaven. So where my treasure is, my heart will be. If I'm consumed with what's happening here, that's where my heart will be. If it's there, that's where my heart will be. He goes on and just says, the eye is the lamp of the body, and that's a little hard to understand, but that paragraph just means this. Your view of reality will determine whether your life gets filled with light or darkness. Your view of reality, if reality is treasures on earth are all there is, then your life, you won't know where you're going or why you're here or what it's all about. But if your view of reality is, I live for the Jesus way, I follow him, then your life will be full of light. That's what he's saying there. He says, no one can serve 2 masters. Either he'll hate the one and love the other, or he'll be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. Make a note of this. This is the only place in the New Testament or anywhere where Jesus actually names an idol or an anti-God. This is the only place he'll name one, and he names it and he calls it money. You can't serve God and you can't serve money, is his rather blunt statement. Again, he's not saying that you shouldn't serve both God and money, but that you can't. If you serve money, you can't serve God. If you serve God, you can't serve money. It's either or. It's the way it is.